Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, meathead. You're going to hear more. You're going to hear Corona guys next. But it's no different. The only difference is you can see more people, talk to more people because of the Zoom and Skype, which I would think the kids would like, but they don't, because that makes them more accountable. The numbers, because you can do it, I don't know about 10 times faster, but 5 times faster at least. There's no reason you can't have 5 Skype calls in a day. Nap, roll over on your secretary, go home and fuck your wife, and have 5 more. I mean, it's easy fucking peasy. But on the looks of your face, I see, are we filming these guys this way? I mean, by the looks of your face, either you're not fucking your mistress, you're not fucking your wife, and or you're not making any of the calls, or all the above. Then what do you do all day? Nothing. And as soon as you start filling out that, not one March person that got the gigs early has asked me about the weekly report since March. Not one of you miserable cunts has asked me about the weekly report. Ergo, it's because you're not using it. Or you used it once and you saw what a fucking flaming cunt you are. It's got to be one of those two. I know, maybe some of you, well, fuck, I don't want to answer these. I just go on and click on to something else. And I still today hold myself accountable for calls. For calls. We're going to get back to the chairman. Any questions about Thomas or any comments? Yes, ma'am. Did we get her a phone book to sit on yet? Go ahead.
So chronologically, he's just 30 days out of the seminar.
36 days. This is 36 days out of the seminar.
And
so he closed his first deal in 81 days because he has the second best, pre-corona. The old man, bald-headed guy, did it in 78 days. And now, since then, he's done 8 more deals. Yeah.
So he's talking about business, top line, and yet he still doesn't have it.
No, because, he's talking about things that I had mentioned in previous webinars. Anybody can cut costs. You can find any bean counter accountant to cut costs. Guys remember I said that Rebecca, the Viking bitch, was a rainmaker. I mean, few and far between are you going to be able to find men, let alone women, that are rainmakers, meaning they make shit happen. Making shit happen is sales. All these big companies wouldn't exist without top-line sales. You can find any fucking bean counter to cut costs, etc. Top-line sales is what it's all about. It's the most important thing, and I've always been a top-line guy, sales. And I've always been good at it. Some say terrific at it. Some say extraordinary at it. But without top-line sales, you've got nothing. Understand? Oh, in the mic, please.
He doesn't have a deal yet, right?
No, he doesn't. Oh, I see what you're saying. But he's got another company.
He's talking about an existing company that he owns.
Which is now, my suggestion to him was, your first acquisition should be you. And he wanted, for obvious reasons, he wanted a top line to be higher before he bought himself. For all obvious reasons. And that's what he's referring to. But for some of you, not necessarily in this room, but it comes to you, your first acquisition should be you. In Anelli's case, he decided to just step away and not buy himself. He decided to sell his business to his employees. You can either buy the business or sell it. If you have a real business, most of your business, you ought to just turn the key. Or milk them until you've done 1 or 2 or 3 acquisitions, until you've got cash flow to support yourself. It's no different than when I talk to you about working at your existing job until you do a couple of deals where you can support your lifestyle good or filthy habits, whatever you got. And that's what the kids do. And Andreas, when he was there, he showed you how, even though he was slow over a year, he continued to be a senior financial analyst until he did deals, and now he's got deals, and now he's stepped away from that business, and he's just working on his GmbH, his German company, because not many people can just walk away from their job, have no income, and survive. We've had a few, but it's tough. But the ones that do that, I would be disingenuous if I didn't tell you, do it faster. Under the whip, no income coming in the door, you go through this model a lot quicker because it's your life or death. That I can guarantee. When you're gonna go, like Simon said, when you're 8 days away from getting thrown out, I mean, you react. Because even a mouse will fight if you back it in a corner. I'm not suggesting you do that. Not many people have the emotional makeup to do that. I will tell you, if you do it, you're either going to get it done faster or die faster. It's that simple. It's not like throwing you into the deep end of the pool. It's like throwing you into the middle of the motherfucking Pacific Ocean. And there's not many people who can swim far enough to get to land. Now, I'm in Tahiti a few years ago. And I've got an appointment. Remember, if you used to see on my website, Dan's in this town between such and such and such and such. He sees people for free, blah, blah, blah. So I got a meeting. I'm sitting in the lanai and, a typical Tahiti type hotel with the wind blowing through the lanai and where you check in. And I look at my watch and the guy's not here. 5-10 minutes, and then a guy shows up wearing like a loincloth, like a native, and from Hawaii, that's paddleboard, some shit. And he said, "I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Peña. I didn't want to even go and change because I'm late." And I said, "Okay." And then he says, "The tide was against me." I look at him. Tide, like in water? He says, "Yeah. I mean, I fought the last 120 kilometers." What? The last 120 kilometers, I was against the tide. The tide always goes the other way. The last 120 kilometers? Yeah. Well, where'd you come from, kid? And he named some island 200 kilometers away. And he says, in 100 years, the tide has never come this way against me. So I thought I'd be 3 or 4 hours early, be able to shower, change, get dressed up, and he had his little bag with his suit and shit in it. I said, "Fuck, sit down. You need a drink, kid." And he had a sparkling water, and then he told me his deal. 200 kilometers. Guy was built like a Tarzan. I mean, the guy, nice kid. But getting back to Thomas, he said he doesn't know what he's doing. Now, so far, save one, every single person you've heard from. And normally you wouldn't want to embarrass yourself, right? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But they've had results not knowing what they're doing. We, myself included, are raised not to on purpose step on your dick. We step on our dick enough, but not on purpose. But every single person except one so far has said these different words. I don't know what I'm doing. I just accept it on faith. So, but you Y guys, not like wise guys, you Y guys have trouble doing that. Because I'm not going to beat that horse again, but because of all the things I've already said. Anything else? Yes, sir, in the back.
I know he says during screening, he eventually meets... Oh, I got your point.
Oh, no, go ahead. That's all right.
I know he says during screening, at some point, he eventually meets them in person. Considering the times we are in now, is that the equivalent of our video call or Skype call?
Now, I didn't hear the first part of your sentence. Say it again, please.
I said I know during screening when he's talking to the board and CEO, at some point he meets them in person.
Oh yeah, well this is pre-corona. All the top guys meet him in person. All the top guys, all their meetings are in person. This is pre-corona. All the top guys, the most successful, everything is eyeball to eyeball. All the guys. Now they've shifted, or pivoted, I should say, to now the only thing that is really eyeball to eyeball now is your due diligence while you're buying the deal. You got to walk the property, as the saying goes. But other than that, and I told you, you can't get a vibe. It's too easy to hide your insecurity in a Skype or a Zoom. It's too easy to lie in a Skype or a Zoom. I can't see that their feet are twitching or their hands are twitching. It's too easy. And as a result of the Corona era, 3 years from now, we may wind up with 20% of the deals were, they trick fucked you. But we don't know that yet. Right now, the deals are going forward. And so, it's too early for me to point my finger of indignation. But based on my 50 years of experience, there are things that aren't being told. There are disclosures that aren't being made. And when you go to the property by yourself, that is a no-no. You got to take somebody, at the least an industry expert. Somebody that knows some shit about this industry. Otherwise, you're going to get fucked. Because remember, you assimilate at this seminar between 40 and 60% of the material because there's so much. Okay? It'll take you 5 years to be able to understand all of it. But you can exit before that. But I don't want you to buy pigs in a poke. I want you to take somebody there that understands. Anelli even said, I can walk into a business and I can tell her whether it's a shit business in 5 minutes. Of course, now he's been doing it a while. 5 minutes. You can, and you can tell when, as I put in my book, I go out with a sales manager. I go with this, and it's a 3-day process. And way before I sit down to negotiate the final deal with the owners, I know a lot about the business. I pretty much have a gut feel for who I should keep, who I should get rid of. And when I went out with marketing or sales, we always went out for drinks. And most people are cheap drunks, and 1 or 2 drinks, and they tell you everything. Of course, they're currying favor because you're going to be the new owner, and they want to be your friend. They want you to like them more than you want them to like you, which is hard to understand. Because we're not in the like business. We're in the business to be effective. And 9 times out of 10, when they like you, you did something wrong. Remember, I said, if you like me at the end of the seminar, I fucked up. When I talked to the universities, if you like me at the end of this fucking 3 hours, I fucked up. It's because I didn't lay the truth bare. I didn't cut your bones open and lay your soul bare to the facts. Because with the facts, with 1 or 2 exceptions, you have to admit to yourself that you wasted 5, 10, 20, 25 years of your life down a shithole to accept this. And the reason why it's the most difficult aspect is to admit you've been doing it all wrong. Your personal development, 99% of it is just dog shit. It's like now, first marathon I ever ran was 3 hours. First. Now they run 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hour marathons. Or now the new gig is I ran for the experience. Fuck you and your experience, you weak cunt. I can walk a marathon in 5 hours. I don't know how you run them in 8. Because I'm always put myself under the gun no matter what I did. whether it was lift weight, box, the fact that you won't admit that you've wasted most of your life, and for you young kids, so you wasted 5 years, so what? And there's nobody really old in this room. I'm 35 years older than the oldest guy in this goddamn room. But, you know, a lot of people say, I wish I found it 20 years ago. I was here 20 years ago. You didn't look too fucking hard. Because remember, everybody in this room falls into one of two categories, desperate or inspired. And there's not one fucking inspired person in this room. So where does that leave you? Desperate. That's fine. That's my specialty. I know how to turn shit to gold. But you've got to, for me to fill your cup, you've got to empty the shit out of it already. And part of that shit is your emotional baggage. Emotional baggage. I've got emotional baggage, but it's nothing like you guys have. Some people say, psychiatrists tell me that I should have emotional baggage because my dad was an assassin killer. Do I look like I got any emotional baggage about that? I wear it like a badge of fucking honor because he had some balls and he killed people that should have been killed. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, EJ, play it. Okay. The kids in my neighborhood, everybody called my mother Mrs. Peña. All the other moms were Annie, blah, 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 because they were afraid to piss my dad off. I love that black man that beat his kids. I'm gonna send money to him. This is my dad. Kidnap situation. After my dad did this, he decided he was too old to kick indoors, he retired. And when they interviewed the other cops who were there, they said, well, exactly what happened. Was it a righteous shoot? And all the guys that were there, 11 guys said, what did Manny say? Whatever Manny said is what happened. Now, you can't do that today. That's how I was raised. That's it. But I don't have any baggage like that. My baggage, I'm a military officer, combat trained, never saw combat, and I told my mother to go fuck herself the day before she died, the night before she died. Mom, you're not sick, goddamn it, quit whining like a fucking bitch. Next morning, she's dead. Now that's baggage for me. But unless you come to grips with yourself, and the reason why I pound on this emotional baggage shit is because it's important, and after 27 and a half years, I know what works and what doesn't work. And me being nicey, goody two-shoe doesn't work worth a shit. All I get is more of the same. And me treating you nice would be like placating and saying it's all right that you're a wuss, cunt, coward. And it's not. If you want to do this, stay in your fucking job. Stay married to the same slut or flabby ass piece of shit that you're married to. Continue to raise your kids like a fucking moron. Fine, I don't give a fuck. But if you're going to do this, there's only one way to get it done. Like that. You kick the fucking door down, you blow his motherfucking brains out. But you're risking the guy's going to turn the gun on you and shoot you, right? That's the only way this works. There is no plan B, C, D, E, or E. So you can either do it or you can't. I don't really give a shit. We got a year stacked up. Now, we don't have anybody, if you quit today, we don't have anybody that's willing to come and only spend the last 2 days. But up until yesterday, we had people that would come in, pay full tilt, sleep in your fucking bed. We don't even have to change the sheets. Because it's a rough fucking world out there. But it's not so rough that I can't turn a wussy, weenie cunt like yourself into a rich person. It's not quite that bad. It's not quite that bad. Okay, anything else about, I'm still working on the chairman. Well, not the chairman, but the board. Anything else, any questions or comments about the Thomas? And fast forward, he had his 5th kid. He's done his 9th acquisition. He's right now currently in actually flew back last night from Los Angeles for his 10th acquisition because he's on the ground looking at the deal. And the deal will essentially double the EBITDA of the company. Double the EBITDA of the company. And we've set up expectations. And in turn, he has set up expectations with the other board members and the employees. And this idea that I showed you, not an idea, it's a great tool of updating the board, is terrific. Because as he said, one of the things that he noticed is the board members trail off, they disappear. And that's because you don't keep them in the loop. They won't disappear if you keep them in the loop and utilize them. What do you think? You may decide not to do it. Because even his current board members are used to somebody writing a check, putting up money. Somebody putting up shekels in the deal. I don't think he has a guy on the board that's ever been involved in any kind of deal worth any size that somebody didn't write a check. That's the way it's been for centuries. But Andrew Carnegie figured out, because he was a cheap little bastard, that, there was another way. Yes, sir.
The 0 to 10 days that you mentioned, is that as a byproduct?
Okay, it's about zero.
The going from 0 to 10 days, having a deal, is that a byproduct of Corona, just doing Zoom calls?
Yeah, well, no, I could do it in 10 days even without Corona. But I mean, no, it's an absolute 1,000% byproduct of Corona. Because it's acceptable not to be in person now. In fact, in some cases, it's mandatory not to be in person because they won't, I'm not sure the sellers wanted to meet Thomas when he wanted to go out there. I haven't gotten an after action report, but it's because of Corona. Banks are lending, and I'm not, trying to besmirch the banking industry, but it's a lot fucking easier. Contrary to what everybody says, it's a lot fucking easier to get the money out of them now. Especially, remember, we're coming into the holidays, and even though you will never find a banker that says that we lend more money the last few weeks of the year because of the holiday bonuses, you'll never find anybody that'll admit that. But it's so true. This is 25, 30 years ago, I had the senior guy, one of the major 4 banks here in Britain, sitting in my library, sucking up scotch, saying I'm 770 million pounds under loaned. $700 billion. Can you help me, Dan? I come to you because everybody knows you got I didn't have hundreds of deals. That's bullshit. A lot of deals, and it hasn't changed. And you heard a Canadian doctor asking him the wussy questions about, whatever questions he was asking about the banks, and he wanted a tip. What banks are the ones in Canada, because he's from Toronto as well, are going to be able to lend me the money the most easy, or the easiest? And there aren't any. And even the most liberal banks it depends on the loan officer. Now, we haven't even got into this, but I'll get into it now. If I don't like the loan officer because he's got an attitude, next, I want to see your superior. You will rock him. I've made bankers cry. When you put them through that fucking interviewing script, they will sweat. But if you don't use the fucking scripts, monkeys, then, other than just wasting the money to come here, Maybe you had a little holiday because you wanted to have, 2 weeks quarantine. Maybe you came with your bitch and she's out in the motel. I don't know. But you wasted your fucking money if you don't use the scripts. And we've got 4 or 5 scripts for every single thing. One supposedly for different personalities. I don't know if that's really true or not, because I look at them and they all look about the same. But some of the words are a little more forceful. But none of them talk like me. They're all wussy fucking pussy scripts. Like you'd read to a kid in kindergarten. I don't talk this way to kids in kindergarten. But the scripts are like kindergarten talk. But they work. Otherwise, I wouldn't give them to you. Yes, sir.
Would you suggest that we try to be hard coming out the gate?
Well, we skipped a slide, but of this great white shark eating a sea lion in half. Was it there? Okay. And that's the way you got to come out smoking. Most fist fights, for those of you that have ever been in a fight, are won in the first 30 to 45 seconds. And during the boxing, even though it was embarrassing, some of the boxing, but they came out smoking. Now, originally, for anybody that's fought, originally they wanted 5 3-minute rounds. Are you fucking nuts? I mean, these got 5 3-minute rounds. I mean, that's war, if you can get through it, okay? And then they said, well, no, how about 2 5-minute rounds? You can tell nobody's ever been in a fight. And so then the first time we did it was a 2-minute round, and I could tell a lot of people are going to get hurt 1-minute round. But somebody got hurt. Now, we didn't put it on you, fuck. Every single time we had the fight, somebody got hurt. Jason Nagy tore his, whatever the fuck he tore. Every single fight somebody got hurt. And we didn't when guys got knocked out, unconscious, took us 30 minutes to revive one guy. Paramedics are here. One guy got blinded. You can't take the truth. We didn't give him, so we kind of edited some of the shit. But every single fight, somebody got hurt. And, God bless some of these guys. I mean, you could tell that they had never been involved in anything even remotely close to a real fight. And but I mean, they were all, they were all feeling macho after. I mean, that night, if their wives had been there, goddamn, their wives would have paid me to have them boxed, and a lot of them box now. And I don't like non-contact sports. When you're pulling punches and shit like that. Because I'm not in the finesse business. Did I answer your question? Come out smoking, like Smoking Joe. Frazier, who was a nice guy I knew back in the day. I met Muhammad Ali twice. Once on the Concorde, which doesn't fly anymore. And then once before that, I went to the Cotton Club. This is on my site, and Dan does the extreme. In the Cotton Club in Harlem in 1978. And Harlem was all black then. It hadn't been developed into what it is today. And there were only 2 white people at the Cotton Club, Muhammad Ali's chauffeur and me. And I'm sitting about from here to that curtain from Red Fox was the comedian. Funny guy. So, and he was loaded on something. I don't know what he was loaded on. And he was saying shit. And part of his routine is making fun of white people and the short dicks and shit like that. And so I jumped up and said, "Speak for yourself, old man." You could cut the air with a chainsaw. Quiet. And I'd say, and he was a feisty old fucker. He says, he comes out and I start running towards him. And then a bunch of big black guys stopped me. And Muhammad Ali was about where you are. And he stood up and he said, "Everybody calm down. I'm sure the white man doesn't want a problem here." And then Muhammad looks around the room at all the black faces. He said, "I'm sure the white man doesn't want a problem here. So why don't we just comp his bill and let him go?" Now I got a big mouth. Not me. I'm not going anyplace. Fuck. I don't know what I was thinking. God help me. God help me. But I did leave. Finally, discretion was the better part of valor. I did leave. And so then when we go out, his chauffeur said, he's talking to my chauffeur, is this kid crazy? But so Muhammad very nice to me. So then when I met him on the Concord many years later, he didn't remember. He was at sort of the early dementia is part of Parkinson, whatever he was. But I said I'd met him once before. He said, oh, that's nice. Very pleasant, really nice guy. Really nice guy. I was sorry to see him get like that towards the end of his life. But, I mean, come out smoking. Come out. And don't be concerned about the mistakes you make. Practice, 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 and you're still going to make a mistake. The only perfect practice makes it perfect. Took me 200 speeches. Maybe I was good after 160 or 70. But I mean, and one of the reasons I had a high work ethic for practice is because I was such a shitty athlete. I used to have just to be an average, mediocre athlete, I had to practice twice as much as anybody else. Because I was uncoordinated, you know? And I mean, I still remember they hit the ball to center field. Please, God. We're 2-1 for the league finals. We're leading 2-1. Bases are loaded. I knew the cocksucker was going to hit the center field. And by God, he did, and I dropped the ball. I dropped the fucking ball. And then I got another one of football, which I told you, I shared with you. God. And I practiced to learn how to drop the ball, I guess, because I practiced a lot. I ran more laps, in football, American football, there's a thing where you hold the football like this, and everybody gets in a circle around you, and then you get hit from all sides. I was that permanent person the entire season. Peña, you're so fucking slow, you ought to wear the other team's jersey. Peña, you fucking wetback Mexican. Now, didn't hurt my feelings. You can't hurt my feelings. Yeah.
I have two questions.
I'd have a field day calling you names. Go ahead.
Two questions that I...
Two questions.
That I
are
understand.
These Swiss questions or the Sri Lankan questions?
They are Swiss.
When
you say you must keep the board members in the loop, can I send
them... In the loop.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean a loop around their neck, like they do in Sri Lanka. That's not what I mean.
No. I mean, can I send them weekly reports?
Yes.
Okay. And
yes.
The other question...
when you're... what language are you speaking in Switzerland?
German.
German. You're in the German corner down there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Go ahead.
And the second, because of the chairman, you told everybody must knows him.
No. You know him by reputation.
Yes. When I make bedpans deal, can I take a political person who is very famous?
No, you don't take the chairman to look at bedpans. Remember I said you only pull the chairman out of his coffin when the big deal, when you're beyond bedpans, when you're doing 25, 50 million, then you bring him out.
Yeah, but I can take him as my chairman, as my mentor, I can take him, but...
Yes, you can. Well, if he'll have you, I don't know why he'd have you, but if he have you, yes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Merkel is going to be out of business, out of office pretty soon, the next months. Now, I'm not speaking for her. I've never met her. I have German mentees that know her. And she's going to have a teaching position, but I mean, I don't know what her business background is, but it doesn't matter. When you're like that, it doesn't matter what your background is. Just the name. I mean, the former CEO of Deutsche Bank, Ackerman, who I do know. I mean, and there's no end of people that you can ask. Most of them legitimately would say, I'm conflicted. Thank you very much for the opportunity, but I'm conflicted. And they're probably not lying because they are conflicted. Because these important guys and gals have, they have a list of opportunities. They have a list of opportunities, and but don't be afraid to ask them. That's the point. I told you people have gotten through to Bill Gates and, Steve Jobs before he died, before he got sick. There's no shortage of these people. And 99% of them are very polite, very cordial to you. Every once in a while, you get a real asshole prick. But for the most part, they're all nice. They're all super nice. Not nice, like an idiot, like I say the word nice, but they're very polite. They're not like you think. There's another question. Yes, okay, thanks, Kat. That's it.